Yeah, for sure. So when I went into high school, I always kind of make the excuse I was a smart but lazy kid. I was a bum where I just like showed up to class. If I felt like I could have gotten an A if I tried, I didn't. Um, I remember like I never failed a class in high school. I've gotten close, but in high school I never failed a class. In middle school I did fail one class. And it was a typing class. Like the easier the class, the more likely I was to fail because it didn't like simulate me. It was literally we had to type every day, and so going off of that, I kind of like I come from like not the best background, so but I went to Loveland High School, which is a more wealthy high school. Like the average income's pretty high, but we didn't have that average income. Like I was definitely the bottom or near the bottom in income, but not to say I didn't have a very supporting mother and stuff like that. Like anything I wanted to do, I was supported. So, and that's great. And I had other father figures in my life, absent of my actual father. So I think what really like helped me was even though I didn't have like these great things in my life, I was able to just see what was out there, especially through these father figures and stuff like that. And then going on to my junior year is when really I kicked it into high gear. I think it was a chemistry class I took, and I don't do chemistry. I don't do science. I find it so fascinating, but it's not what I'm great at. So I was like, I don't know if I could get an A in this class if I tried. So I tried, and I developed a good relationship with the teacher at the time. And I'm not kidding. She would not give me an A just to help, like push me a little bit. Like she would just make sure she graded me as hard. Like she would have given me an A if I did everything perfect, but she would dock point. Like it was great. I got like an 89.98 or something. It was crazy. She recommended me for honor society and everything else like that. So it's not like it was, against me. But at that point, it's like, okay, I need to start. Never played an organized sport before that time. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do wrestling, which was like, if you're joining a sport, that's like one of the most grueling. And then I did football, and then I did ski and snowboard and swimming, and like track is my number one. Pole vaulting was my favorite. And then, so my junior year, something just clicked. It was like, okay, I didn't know if I could achieve that. There's so much more out there. And then this teacher came in from another school and started business classes. My plan was not to go to college at this point, really. Like it's been thrown at me by some of these people in my life, but not like nothing was set in stone. And then I like got on a national stock market simulation, got first place, got to talk to the board of Loveland to how these business classes are doing great and how I think they should be like a required, like everyone should have to take a financial literacy class. I was promoting this kind of thing. And then my teacher sits me down and was like, so what college are you going to? And I was like, I didn't think about it. I don't even know I don't know colleges because I'm first gen. So no one in my family has ever gone to college. And I was like, I don't even know how to apply to college. Like I don't like what I can't even remember what it's called, like Common App. Never heard of that before, except a teacher said it in passing before. He's like, well, you like track? And I was like, yeah, I like track. It's awesome. He's like, you really like business? I was like, yeah, it's probably what I'm going to end up doing for the rest of my life. And he's like, go to UC. I was like, okay. So I applied to UC and I got in. I accidentally walked on campus one day looking for some kind of CPA kind of introduction thing. Like it was a seminar about why high schoolers should get interested in accounting for becoming a CPA. And then, so I walked on campus, but didn't know I was like on campus. I got lost and I walked. So my really first introduction to campus was the first day of classes because it was COVID during that time. So the seminar was on, or whatever, the intro, whatever was online. So the first time was me showing up to Linear College of Business, even though my classes are online, because I was like, well, I'm paying for college. I might as well go there, and I'll take a study room. I remember it was room 29, 0029. I would go in there every day in the morning, and I would leave at I'd get there 6, 7 in the morning. I'd leave at 8 at night, not for schoolwork, just because I do independent study and stuff like that. Because I'm in college now, I better pick it up. So yeah, that's definitely a huge transitional shift that I had.
Was there a specific moment besides this, after this chemistry class, I guess you could say, that really had you kick it into high gear and really switch your mindset? Because you mentioned the chemistry class is one thing of really just focusing up in that class, but then you took it a step further and decided to start becoming more active in sports. And really started to up your classes and studying and whatnot. And then obviously things spiraled to where now you were able to go to college and whatnot. But was there anything specifically that you remember that really motivated you to actually start playing sports and to start doing well?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I probably can't pinpoint it, to be honest with you, exactly what it was. One thing I do remember, and I tell the story a lot when people are always like, successful. And so something else I did, like, I would go to Plato's Closet and buy clothes. Like, again, I had nice clothes provided to me sometimes by other people, but like people, when I first talked to them and before they got close to me, and now I'm very open about it, but people thought I came from a well background just because of how I dressed and how I held myself and stuff like that, because I purposely went out of my way to make it seem like I wasn't from a worse background than I was. Not to say I was absolutely horrible, but not nearly as well as these kids living in like 6-7 bedroom houses and stuff like that. Like, I would go out of my way to try to dress up a little bit to make it not look like that. But I think a really big one was I went into wrestling. I was 150 pounds. And for those people that don't know wrestling, it's a weight class. So I remember I was new, so they paired me up with the 106 guy. I was like a foot taller than him, had 3 times the muscle, could lift 3 times more than him, and everything else like that. I get down, like, oh, why are they doing this? Like, I'm about to destroy this kid. He slams me to the ground, knocks the wind out of me, pins me. There is nothing I can do. This guy that's less than half my size is destroying. And I'm sitting there like, he had me in like a cradle. I'm like all bunched up, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do. And just to be like, okay, there is something to this talent thing. Like, I have to develop myself because it's not going to be given to me at that point. Because I was like, genetically, like, you could argue that I was like taller, stronger, everything else. But because he developed his talent, there's nothing I could do. He could just beat me no matter what. So I think that was a pivotal moment. It was like, at least athletically, is like, I have to get my body in shape because it's not going to happen naturally. Like, I have to work on myself, which translated over into my academics and whatnot. But yeah, I would say like getting, hit a couple times and the wind knocked out of me and saying like, okay, things aren't exactly going to be given to me. I have to work for them.